Thanks for coming, guys. My name is Iryna. I run business development and marketing at a company called Ziggy. You probably haven't heard about it yet. Ziggy is a company that found a way to address the user attention problem on mobile and monetization problem on mobile with one tool, with location-based sponsorships. Completely new model that I'm going to tell you about today. Team of experts in location, advertising, and mobile got together, and we've been in location industry since 2008, and just about 1.5 years ago, we went into this space of monetization. And when we were going there, we knew it was overcrowded, and we knew unless we come up with something radically different and something that really addresses the problems of developers, we wouldn't actually survive and succeed there. So what we started out by, I personally and the team and our team, we literally went out to developers, the most successful game developers and publishers in mobile. I talked to over 200 of them over the course of 18 months. And we just started asking, how do you do mobile? How do you monetize? What challenges you faced? What help you need? What works, what doesn't? On the other side, we went to brands. We knew that brands are the ones who have money. We quickly figured out the retail brands are the ones who have a lot of money and don't know how to spend it on mobile. And basically, we just went to the VPs of marketing, the CMOs of the biggest US, we started in US, brands, and asked what they do on mobile to drive people to their stores, how it's going, what their needs are. And obviously, we just as well focused on the mobile users who everyone's trying to please and make money off. And we tried to understand their habits and what they do with their mobile games, where they play, how they play. We kind of got all this information, connected the dots, and built the model I'm going to tell you about. And just wanted to note that most of the content you're going to see today is actually based on this input that we got from developers, sponsors, and users over the last 18 months. I'm going to go into more details in a minute, but in a very brief form, this is all about having retail brands pay for unlocking virtual goods when people go into their stores or restaurants. And this presentation today will cover how game developers, actually, how many mobile game developers are here? How many of you deal with mobiles, just to understand? Good, some. OK. So we'll talk about how the user retention can be increased by giving more people access to virtual goods, the non-paying users, actually. We'll talk about the ways to monetize the non-paying users and reward them for something they already do every day, for going to the stores, for going to the restaurants, for their usual behavior, pretty much. And I'm going to tell you a little bit of how there is a way to unlock the huge budgets of retail marketers who want to be in mobile, who want to reach mobile audience, but they're still looking for good ways to spend their money on. We'll start with the obvious, probably, but we all know that mobile is moving from premium selling games to freemium selling stuff in games. And it's still early days of freemium, and developers are still deciding what to do with it, how to do it best. But one thing is clear: if you make your app, your game free, you're going to get about 10 times as many users as for a premium version. So that's the good news, right? But the bad news is that out of this huge audience that the developer now gets access to, a lot of them, the users, are not staying in the game, and they're not paying anything. Actually, about 40% of users leave the game within the first 30 days, which is actually disastrous for guys who pay for user acquisition and try to make money on it. Developers are trying to figure out how to do the monetization in the best way and how to make most of their games and most of their audience. So what they do is, we got those cool games. We got lots of users getting excited about it. They download the game, they like it, then they start playing, and they quickly realize that their opportunities in the game are actually limited if they don't get they don't purchase something in the game, like new levels, new power-ups, something. Most of the users quickly, especially the ones who are never ever putting out the credit card and paying, they just move on to the other games. Of course, there are other people who are ready to buy stuff. And it's about, usually what we hear from developers, it's nearly 2 to 3% of daily active users who buy things in the games. They like what they get, they stay in the game longer, they're happy, and that's where developers put most of their focus on, and that's where most of the revenue comes, which is, for most developers, still not enough. Other developers and publishers don't bet as much on in-app purchases and do the advertising instead, like huge advertising effort. So they do all kinds of tricks to make you click on the ads, so it doesn't you have to see it, you can't just close it or something. And guess what? People get annoyed and leave. It's the same problem. So basically, with all this pressure, with all these challenges, we got this huge audience, but are we getting the most out of it? Is freemium really working the way it should? And have we achieved the level of optimal monetization? Well, one thing is clear, that a lot of the money is still left out on the table. So basically, we know that growth in mobile sessions, the number of mobile sessions between 2010 and 2012 has been about 10 times. And meanwhile, the game's revenue has grown only about 3 times. Huge gap, right? If we look closer into the way developers monetize games, we will see that most of them focus on whales. So the hardcore users, even if we talk about casual games, who play a lot, who pay a lot, bring money, happy, leave good reviews. Developers love them, they love the game, everything's great. Just 2 to 3%, although. Then there is another group of users that can actually be monetized with location-based sponsorships. And this group is usually about doubles or triples the size of the people who buy stuff. So if we have 2% who buys things in games, we can get 4 to 6% who will go to a place to get stuff in the game. And the advantage is that these guys also have get the full game experience. So get the new levels, get the new power-ups that make the game fun, make them want to keep playing. So that's where the user retention problem is addressed. And then obviously there still is going to be a lot of people who are not ready to do anything, neither to pay nor go anywhere. So they can still be monetized with ads. But having a combination of monetization models, developer kind of lets the pressure down, and you don't have to make people view ads. You don't have to make people buy. You give them the choice. So the whole model of combining different monetization models is about respecting the game experience and monetizing users in a way that's respectful to their stay, right? So closer to what we do, actually. Ziggy. Ziggy is an SDK that it's basically integrated into the game, and it's location-based. So at the beginning of the game, it's going to ask you for your location if you're a user, and it's going to tell you that you're going to get something for free if we know where you are. So anytime the user is going to be playing, Ziggy is going to monitor the location and see if there's a partner's location nearby where we can offer them in-game content for free. And you can see this little green stuff. I don't use the pointer. In the that bottom corner, it always looks like part of the game. We place a huge focus on making this a part of the user experience as opposed to banner ads that just pop up and annoy the users. This has to feel like a part of the gameplay. So the next step is whenever the player is actually within the inform radius, right, within the specific radius that was set by a brand and by a developer together, we notify this person that he can go to the nearest coffee shop, to the nearest clothing store, pharmacy, whatever it is, and go this new cool level unlocked. Get a character customization, anything you usually sell and you want them to buy. And the important thing here is we don't offer coupons or discounts right away. So this is not a Groupon type of model where we expect people to go, we give them $1 off and we expect them to go to a place, and that's not how it works. We actually use the in-game motivation to drive people to the stores. And to be fair, it's not like we're expecting the person to jump up and just go across the city to pick up some little thing in the game. doesn't happen much in this busy world. But we do know if a person was thinking coffee or sandwiches or clothes, and they were choosing between retailers, this gives them another reason to choose one brand over another and gives them a reason to increase the frequency of their visits. And this is huge for brands. This is a huge upgrade for their business. This is the core of Ziggy, a little map that usually looks like a part of the game, just like everything else. So here you can see where you are and where the closest place is where you can get something in your game. And basically, the minute you walk into the store or a coffee shop or a restaurant, the game automatically unlocks an in-game item, a virtual good, a set of virtual goods, whatever you offer. There is nothing manual to do there. There is no check-in. There is no code or anything. It all works by location trigger. You walk in, stuff gets unlocked, and this is a monetizable event for a developer. This is what they get paid for. At this point, we actually allow brands to put an offer or discount or an ad or any kind of promotion in front of the user when they're already close to their point of sale, when they just got something really cool from a brand they really wanted in their game. So they're in a good mood, good purchase intent, and they're close. This is a perfect moment for a retailer. They really appreciate this, and they're ready to spend money on this type of marketing. But this is actually optional. Because some brands don't want to discount. That's just their policy. I like it. Pretty cool. But let's talk about the financial side more. The problem with current monetization, advertising monetization, in particular banners, has been that all the banner budgets have been coming from e-commerce, so from brands who are trying to sell something online, right? But they only coincide about 7% of the overall advertising marketing budget of retail. So a huge question is, where is the rest of the money? Why is it not spent in mobile, and in particular in mobile games? And we know that over 64% of users play games on their smartphones. But what we discovered quickly by talking to brands is that if you offer a brand a really trackable, a really measurable tool that allows them to see, this is how much we spent on the campaign, this is how many people we brought in their stores, this is how much they bought, they're ready to shift a lot of their budgets on it. Because until now, what they do is they put banners into an application. The campaign goes for a month, 2 or 3, and then they just kind of hope that people saw it, they came to the store, and they bought something. They have no real way to track it, but they kind of compare the same store sales, which is not a good measure. With something like this, you can see where a person saw the ad or a notification in the game, how much they traveled, when they came, how long they stayed, when did they come back. And if there is an offer, you can also track whether they bought something. So this kind of gives them a confidence that if this is a good marketing spend, so you get the reach, as usual reach with mobile gaming, and you also get the trackability that's only available on an online business right now. They get really excited about it, believe me. If you look at the numbers a little bit, we see that the whole total ad budget is around $20 billion in the US, and it's just US. And guys, some of the guys in the list, you will see we already work with, and each of them has around $2 billion to spend in a year. And lots of this money is being spent on mobile right now. So why this is attractive, I already kind of pointed this out, but why this is really attractive to retailers is that this allows them to be an actual part of the game. So as opposed to a mobile banner that pops up and annoys the user, and they want to get rid of it quickly, they're becoming someone. So the brand is the beneficiary who gives a person something really cool they want in the game, right? So they get this positive brand association that is completely worthless. That is super important for brand marketers. They get a unique way to drive consumers all the way to their stores and track it. And like I said, they get absolutely accurate and measurable results that are not something they usually get on mobile marketing. This is how much we usually get from a retailer per visit. The price, so for beverage and fast food, is around $1. Supermarket restaurants, about $2. Clothing stores, home improvement stores, and others pay around $3. This depends on usually on a combination of factors. One of them is the density of the retailer. Another one is the average basket size and the number of locations. Basically, it's easier for us to drive someone to a coffee shop that's in every other corner of the street than it is to drive a person to a home improvement store or a movie theater, who also get interested in this. And the model is revenue share, 70 to 30. 70 goes to developer. What users get out of this is pretty clear. They don't have this pressure to either pay or leave the game. They get something new every time they open their game in a new location. So this is like I'm sitting in my cafe and I'm thinking, oh, why don't I check this game out and see if maybe there's something close or maybe there's something in the store that I can get. So another reason to open the game and play it, come back to the game. And we all know how much people love free stuff. So if you know you would have to pay $1 to $6 to $10 for this and you can get it for free, this is pretty amazing motivation. And what's in it for developers? Developers increase the user retention by giving a lot more users, but doubling or tripling the number of users who get the full game experience, so who get all the game opportunities that keep them want to play. They get a completely different, non-intrusive way to monetize the non-paying users who are never going to spend money in the game, who might view some ads, who might sometimes by mistake click on them, sometimes not by mistake, but in reality, you don't get a lot of money from them, usually. And this is, at this point in the market, this is a unique way to unlock the retail marketing budgets, because nothing else is available for retailers to be able to track their marketing results so clearly. To sum up, it's all about shifting to a different part of the budgets that are until now have been unavailable to game developers for a set of simple reasons. It's about increasing the game users' retention, and it's not something you have to choose over other monetization tools. If you want to do advertising, you can do it. If you want to do in-app purchases, well, you have to do in-app purchases for this to work. You do it, and this is something that just brings your revenue up significantly with whatever tools you use. Helping Freemium work better, pretty much. That's a quick overview. Would love to get some questions. Well, if no other questions, thank you for your attention. You guys have a great evening.